It's an extremely cold morning in Delhi, but I've got some warm news. We are going on a safari. We are going in a safari. Yes, if you remember, the iconic Tata Safari is back in a new avatar. It's on the D8 platform from the very iconic Land Rover. And of course, we already have the very established Harrier on that platform and is doing well. Now we have a bigger brother in terms of interior size in the new Tata Safari. So what are the new features in this new Tata Safari? A lot of enthusiasts may not be too enthusiastic about the Safari because it does not come in a 4x4 version. It's just a 4x2 front wheel driven. But Tata Motors knows what the trend is. They're the smart guys. So they have brought in the 4x2 Tata Safari. And this comes in both a 6-seat version as well as a 7-seat. There's a captain's seat and there's a bench seat. So first let's check out what's the space inside, how comfortable it is, what are the features, how well does it drive. This is the Motown India show and my name is D8 Tharyan. And as you go along, if you like this video, do not forget to give us the thumbs up, do share this video, and if you're not subscribed to the Motown India channel, do so now. And just like the good-looking Harrier, this too is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged diesel engine. And this engine produces around 168 horsepower at 3,750 RPM. That's the peak power. And produces a peak torque of 350 Newton meters in the range of 1750 to 2500 RPM. Well, that's pretty decent. This engine is mated to a 6-speed manual transmission. There is also an option of a 6-speed automatic transmission. This is the automatic version and this has got the captain's seat. So let's talk about the front. If you notice, it's got a very strong and muscular bonnet. It looks strong. You have the signature grille and the signature tri-arrow chrome motif. These are the ones. And they call this the humanity line. It's chrome and it seems to smile. And now coming to the headlamps, these are xenon HID projector lamps. And then you have this LED DRL light here, this dual. In fact, it's an LED DRL and it's also an indicator. And then you have at the bottom the fog lamps. Then you have a dual tone bumper. The side profile of this vehicle is equally interesting and exciting. Well, you have these flared wheel arches. Then you have, of course, the ORVMs with indicators, the roof rails, and the most important thing, you have the stepped roof. That identifies the Tata Safari as the Safari. And this vehicle sits on 18 inches machined alloy wheels. And not to be missed are these side claddings here. They are pretty strong and look good on the vehicle. Now coming to the rear, well, you have the signature twin tail lamps here, and then of course the lovely Safari badging, then the dual tone bumpers here, and an integrated spoiler, a high mounted stop light, and rear fog lamps too. And then just to enhance the looks at the rear, you have these 4 exhausts. Well, they're artificial. The real tailpipe is somewhere here. Now I'll explain to you the comfort of the seating area, in fact the front seat, the middle seat and the rear seat. So let's start with the front seat, the driver's seat and the co-passenger seat. They're extremely comfortable, and if you realize the bolsters here on the side, this is the one which keeps you ensconced in the seat. Even if you were to twist and turn, you know, that keeps you in place. And the back is what matters. So when you're driving, if the back is soft and good, it keeps your spine very comfortable. And this area of course is your under thigh area, and that also I feel the under thigh support and is pretty good. So all in all, I would give almost full marks to these seats. They're extremely comfortable and very practical. I shall explain all these buttons and switches in detail a little later, but just the basic, this steering wheel, it's tilt adjustable and it's also telescopic. So that's a great feature. I'll come to these displays later, the touch display and the instrument cluster here. But interesting is, since this is an automatic, obviously the gears are slotted automatically, but when you go down to the D, you can shift it to it is the sport mode, or some call it the manual mode, so you can get sporty by shifting the gears up and down. Let me bring it back, take it back to parking. Now they have a rotary knob out here, which though it's a 4x2 and not a 4x4, it does give a certain amount of capability. So when I move the rotary knob here, it is activated for wet terrains or wet road. Now there's a rough road also, so if you're going to rough patch, so this controls the traction and all the other elements related to safety and performance. And then of course there is a city drive mode, which is the simplest one. There are two buttons here also. One activates it's this sport mode which has been activated, and then the next option is a city. Now if you want to be a little more simpler in your driving, especially in Delhi when speed limits are just around 50, there you get, that's an eco mode. So eco mode is the perfect mode where you get the best fuel efficiency and you can go back home smiling. On either side of this knob are buttons for hill descent control and engaging your ESP and disengaging it. Though we did not get time to test out these features, we surely enjoyed driving in the different modes, the sport mode being the most aggressive and responsive. Coming back to the seat per se, it's amazing, it's good, and since this is an automatic, it doesn't have a clutch pedal. The footrest area is pretty decent, so there are no bumps out there. It's very neat and very practical. Now let's go back to the captain seat or the middle row seat. And the best seat when you are behind the driver is to be diagonally behind him. So I'm going to hop onto that seat. So now I'm at the middle row seat. This is known as the captain seat. Captain because you get an individual seat. You don't have to bump into anybody in the middle area. So these are two individual seats for the captain. Well, now that I'm sitting here, I'm assuming I'm the boss. My driver is driving. So what do I get to play around with? I get a little bit of space here to keep my mobile. And for a charger, you need to bend a bit. And yes, there are two slots for two USB slots out here. So both of us who are sitting here can charge their mobile or any other device. And as for the storage available, here you have a back pocket. You can keep your knickknacks here, your magazine, your book, or even your other electronic devices. And the space here is more than adequate. I am around 5'10" with my boots on, maybe a little more, and I am overweight to be more precise. So if this seat can accommodate me, these are very good seats, and I'm getting the more than adequate under thigh support, and the backrest is also pretty good. Now when you gauge the comfort of this seat, you realize that you have an armrest here which is pretty good, and then you can also keep your left hand on the side, which is like an armrest, which is very comfortable, and you can actually hang on to these grab handles here on the door, which are chunky and very well built, beautiful quality and a precise size. and you can hold it very well when you're not, when your driver is driving at a good speed. Of course, you need to wear your seat belt, that's a different matter. And you have a grab handle here, you got a little hook there, you got your reading light there. So you've got all the comforts, and interestingly you also have the AC vents on the B-pillar, and that's facing you, which means the air is not coming from there or from some other area on the sides, but right from this pillar. So it comes directly at you, and individually you are in the cool mood. So that is a wonderful thing. So I would say I would give this area, for its spaciousness, for its comfort, almost full marks. It's really good. And if you think that's all, no, there is a little more. If you see the lever on the side of the seat, if you depress it, you can actually push the seat in front. So there you get more space. Now what more can a man ask? Now that's what they say, if you're the captain, you have all the fun. You can bring it back and you can take it in front. So it's very, very convenient. So the best seat I would say is the captain's seat. Now I'm going to hop on to the third row, where Tata Motors says it's good enough for an adult. Usually the third seat is always good for children. Children who are kind of skinny, they're short and small, but not for adults. So I'm going to check it out whether Tata Motors is right on that.
Getting in and out of the third row is from the space between the two captain's seats and not from the outer side of the captain's seat. Since the captain's seat is not a tumble-down seat, unlike in the 7-seater where the second row seat is a bench seat and the same can be tumbled down, here the seat can only be reclined a bit and pushed in front, and the space so created is too narrow for anyone to get in unless one squeezes in.
Now this is the third seat, and in all vehicles this is the most claustrophobic seat. But let's see what Tata's done to make it less claustrophobic. To begin with, it's got vents here on either side. So these AC vents directly hit you, that cools you on a hot summer's day. That's very important. What else do you get on the seat area? You get two USB slots here. Now these two USB slots need to be shared by the two individuals who are going to sit at the back. So the wire is going to run across. So the two slots are here. There is a cup holder or a small bottle holder. I guess it's a cup holder. Then there is a small netted area where you can store something, some knickknacks again. But on the right hand side, you get control, a small rotary knob for controlling the speed of the AC fan. So that's there, and that also has a small area for cup as well as a netted area for your knickknacks. So that's the storage, two AC vents on either side which give you full blast right, so that cools you off. Then you have these large window panes here, which is quite nice because that ensures that you don't feel very claustrophobic. You feel a lot of light coming in and you feel kind of safe. Now coming to the seat here, I must say it's not the best of seats, but it's among the best in the cars I've sat in, and these are cars which are extremely expensive. Now these seats are as good as or little better than those seats in those cars. So what I'm trying to say is this can actually seat a bulky adult like me. Maybe I don't have too much of thigh support, I have a decent backrest, and the back support is good, and the headrest too, since it can be pushed up, it can really, be at the level of your head. So it's stretchable. So that's a very good thing. And the seat, I would say, in this rear, since this is not a bus, it's a car, it's an SUV, I give it, more than average points for the space, for the comfort, and for the practicality in the third row. Good job, Tata Motors.
Once you step inside the vehicle, you are treated to signature oyster white interior color scheme, signature ashwood dashboard, premium oyster white perforated leather seat upholstery, and door pad inserts. The Safari also has satin chrome compact soft touch dashboard with anti-reflective Napa grain top layer. The steering wheel is leather wrapped and so is the gear shift knob. The knob has a bejeweled kind of surface. You get a USB and aux slots in front. The new Safari gets a majestic sky dome, which is basically a best in segment panoramic sunroof. The sunroof automatically closes when the ignition is turned off and the vehicle is parked with doors locked. It has an anti-pinch for passenger safety. It also has a rain sensor closure to prevent rainwater from getting into the cabin. Other cabin features include ambient mood lighting, fully automatic temperature control, AC vents for all 3-row passengers, push-button start, automatic headlamps, rain-sensing wipers, and electrically adjustable and foldable outer mirrors. No interior is complete without an infotainment system and a colorful instrument cluster. The vehicle gets a floating island touchscreen infotainment system with 8.8 inches display, JBL audio with 9 speakers and external amplifier. It has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity. The vehicle has an instrument cluster with 7 inches colored TFT display. The intelligent real-time assist provides a plethora of functions through an app which you need to download into your smartphone. The SUV also comes with a whole set of voice command features, and the button to initiate this is mounted on the steering wheel. The Cryotech 2-liter turbocharged diesel engine produces 168 HP and 350 Nm of peak torque. The turbocharger is an advanced electronically controlled variable geometry turbocharger for good low-end torque and linear power delivery. We got a 6-speed automatic to drive. The front suspension and the Hydra bush have been carried over from D8 and have been tuned for Indian conditions. The rear twist blade suspension has been designed by Lotus Engineering of the UK to suit Indian conditions. All this was quite evident in the ride and handling of the 6-seater SUV as it glided over potholes and some rough patches very smoothly. The electronic parking brake with auto hold is a great function. Each time the vehicle is switched off, the EPB gets activated as a default setting, and one can lift off from stationary by simply engaging the drive mode and pressing the throttle. Of course, you need to wear your seat belt also, but you can also manually deactivate this electric parking brake by stepping on the brake pedal and releasing the switch. The EPB is like your handbrake, and in the Tata Safari, it is electronic. Just adjacent to the EPB is the auto hold button. Now this is a very handy feature. Once you start the vehicle, you need to activate this function by first pressing the auto hold button. You need to wear your seat belt while doing this. The message in tiny letters displays on the instrument panel in white with the words auto hold. Now as you move the vehicle forward or backward, the letters turn green, which means this function is activated. What it does is that while driving in traffic or a hilly track or anywhere, when you apply brakes, the vehicle holds in that position and does not roll back or forward even if you lift your foot off the brakes. This vehicle has all disc brakes. The vehicle comes with a plethora of safety features that include the likes of ABS, electronic brake force distribution, corner stability control, rollover mitigation, tire pressure monitor system, 6 airbags, auto-dimming IRVM, child seat ISOFIX anchor points, reverse parking camera, etc. The 2021 Tata Safari with a monocoque construction is very unlike its earlier sibling by the same name. This one is sleek, has tons of comfort features as well as technology brilliance. Whether it is the safety features or the technology features associated with comfort and utility, this SUV is loaded to the brim with brilliance. Maybe having a 4x2 makes more sense at this stage than bringing in a 4x4 and making it a lot costlier for the starstruck Tata Safari fans.